What's playing Jim and Chiffin's play Crash the Wrath of Cortex Part 4. We are in the Air Elementals domain, and we are going into Part 6, or Level 16. This is one of the...
The Crash Bandicoot, eh? Oh, I've heard so much about you, and this is the hero I have to blow away? Seems like a bunch of hot air to me.
Alright, so that was the Air Elemental. His name is Lolo. This level, Avalanche, is a Coco level. This is the first Coco level that is not in the Oriental themed level design. It is a snow level, and this is where we'll actually get to see her snowboard later on. And because it is a snow themed, you will have the penguins, you'll have the skiers. I don't think you can actually hurt them. I'm not 100% sure though. But as I said before, you do not get to use the other items or the powers that Crash gets to use. So we do not have the double jump or the or a type of death tornado spin. So if you were looking forward to using those, sadly we cannot use those. But her spin and everything works. Her kick works pretty well. It's a little bit better because the camera's not at an odd angle like it is in the both of the Oriental levels. It's definitely a little bit easier to get the timing down for the spin. But anyway, so you can just kind of tell some of the puzzles, I guess you could call them here. Ice. This is ice. It acts just the same as it does for Crash, so you do have to be careful and pay attention. Don't worry about the TNTs blowing up. You should have no trouble getting across. You just have to get a running jump, and then you have to get a running start, and then time your jump just right so that you're able to make it. You do want to make sure that you jump on all of the arrow crates just to make sure that you get the boxes above those. You saw there that there were two that had those boxes. You obviously do not want to stomp here just yet. You want to make sure that you can time it just right. And you can see the exclamation crate back there. If you would have missed it going through there the first time, you could still see the yellow exclamation mark on it. And that's actually a interesting way to, if you didn't even notice it, know it was there. That's an interesting way to find out. I actually did that the first time I played the game. I didn't know it was up there, and had to wait for the bonus round to be able to find it. But anyway, so you can see here, this is all ice, so you do have to be very careful. You cannot. This is downhill, so you're not going to be able to, and you cannot skate like Crash does. She just kind of flails around. Really, she doesn't try to stop herself. You can jump back up the slopes, I believe. You can spin, so that's something useful. You know, you don't have to worry about the penguins. I think you can. Yeah, so if you do miss anything, you can just keep jumping back up there, and that may work as a good defense against the nitros. But I usually find that you can just time it just right, and you should be able to get up there a little bit easier than having to worry about that. But anyway, so as I said, snowboard section through here. There's actually a gym for getting all of these, or passing through all of these flags. So you do want to be careful. The avalanche does work just like a tsunami and pretty much every other chase thing. You just got to get to the end. You don't worry about the boxes. The tsunami will take care of them. All the boxes. So obviously the nitros, but the normal boxes as well. The only thing you have to worry about doing is just make sure that you get through all of the flags. As I said, there is a gym for going through all of the flags. You have to go in between both sets of flags. There is no indication as to know when you hit other than a tone that you can hear, as well as just seeing at the bottom right, you can see there's a counter down there. There are 22 sets of flags in total, so all you have to do is just listen for that noise, the sound that it makes, and just kind of glance down. You don't want to glance down too much because you have to pay attention to where the flags will come up, because they'll come up to you pretty fast, especially as you're trying to outrun the outrun the avalanche, but not too difficult, to be honest. So here we go. Droid Void. This is the first type of level like this. If you can kind of tell in the little screen, we are riding in the same vehicle at the mech as it is in the Crashes to Ashes boss fight, except this one is yellow. There will be some differences to it. Instead of a water cannon, it has a bazooka on it. So that's just something different. We won't see it quite yet. We still got to go through a little ways before we see it, but you know, that's just something to get used to once you see it. But anyway, so the hanging ceilings return in this game. This is the first level design that has this, and you move very, very slow on it. I mean, incredibly slow. There is no way to speed yourself up. If you have the crash dash, that won't work. The only thing that will work, I believe, is having 3 masks on your face, just like I did in Crash 3. But I'm not 100% sure. You move a lot slower than you did in Crash 3. And if you notice there, you can see a slot box. You do not worry about the slot box at all. It will not. The closer you get to it, and the louder the sound gets, obviously, the faster it will go. But until you can hear the sound a lot more clearly. Well, crap. I was trying to get the mask out of there, but until you hear the sound clearly, you do not have to worry about the. Oh crap! You don't have to worry about the thing falling away on you. Now you can see both the top and the bottom will sparkle, or will have electricity running through it. The top electricity will not hurt you, but the bottom one will. What the top will do is it'll just knock you off. You know, no matter where you are. So if you're over a hole, you know, or whatever, and all you'll do is just you'll just kind of fall as I did there. You can kind of tell there's a warning before the electricity starts to run through it. You'll start to hear the popping noise, and you'll see little sparks appear. You can see there, that just kind of lets you know that will happen for both the top and the bottom. And then you'll see the electricity running through the bolts of, I guess, lightning, if you want to call it that. That just kind of tells you when that's what will kill you. The sparks won't, the popping won't, but the electricity running through it will. Or I guess, you know, like I said, the bolts of electricity, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, so you can see here, this would be a section where you have to use the tiptoe. I don't know. I did take damage in an earlier level with the tiptoe, but the first time I used the tiptoe, I didn't take damage. So I'm not sure if it could be my controller, but it could just be buggy as well. I'm not 100% sure, because you wouldn't think that you could kill yourself. You know, you shouldn't be able to kill yourself by using a tiptoe or by using the tiptoe move. But you know, again, I'm not 100% sure. But you can see here. This is it. It has a bazooka on it. The claw on the right arm does nothing. You can jump with it. You do a running jump, or you can do that slow hop. What you have to do all you got to do is just lock onto something, and then you let go to fire. You can fire either way, but just that just lets you know it's like the bazooka from Crash 3. When it's green, that means you're locked onto a target. When it's red, you're just shooting out in nowhere. It is a little bit more accurate than the bazooka from Crash 3. The range for it, let me see. The one fruit will go out a long ways, but the targeting thing will not go out quite as far. But there is a blast radius effect with it, and so you can use that to your advantage. You know, all you have to do is really just shoot on the ground by an enemy. You want to make sure you don't hit the one fruit, but if you can see the ring of like the explosion, that tells you the range of how far the thing goes. It does not have auto aim on it, so you do have to aim yourself. You cannot. If you're aiming towards something, it can sometimes act as an auto aim, but for the most part, if you are, it doesn't work. At least I don't think it has auto aim on it. Yeah, I was gonna say no. It likes to make you think you do, but you really don't. Now you can see those things. That thing that I just shot there will blow up, and once you get close to it, it'll swell up, and then it will blow up after a few seconds. You obviously want to make sure you stay away from that. These little claw robots, nothing to worry about. The futuristic lab assistants with the pistols, nothing to worry about as well. Those little robots there, nothing to worry about as well. There's nothing really dangerous here. To be honest, it's just the controls for using the mech aren't the best, so it does take time to get used to it, and it's not an easy process to get used to it, and that could be difficult for some people. You know, some people may find that a little bit frustrating that they have to get used to something like this, but you do have to get used to it. You know, it's just something you have to do. No way to get around it, to be honest. So obviously you don't have to clear out all of the nitros, but you can if you want to. Through a section like there, you would definitely want to, just to let the lab assistants go away. So here you can see there's the purple gem. So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and come up here and hit that. And you want to be careful because you can actually overshoot the gem, and you'll obviously fall and die. So you definitely want to be very careful, especially if you haven't hit the checkpoint first. You definitely want to make sure you hit the checkpoint just because of that fact. But you know, even then, it's still don't have to. So I guess the blast radius isn't quite that wide, but and there you can just see how worthless the explosives are, the explosive crates. You know, for taking out enemies like in Crash 3, that would have taken out both the enemies. But sadly, in this game, they decided to dumb that down for whatever reason. You know, I mean, it is what it is. There's nothing we can really do. You know, there's nothing you can do about it. But it is a shame that they took that ability away, because that was, you know, definitely made the game a lot easier. But that's probably why they took it out, was just to add a sense of difficulty to it that wasn't in the game before. But you can see this is like a typical death route or a gym route. A bunch of nitros. That's where the majority of the nitros will be. Sadly, we do have to kill ourselves. This level is way too long for me to want to leave and come back over some masks. But you really don't need the mask, so you don't have to worry about that all that much. Wow, I didn't know you could actually shoot the crystal with the bazooka. Because this handle is just like the bazooka does, it's kind of a worse version of the bazooka, to be honest. The bazooka by itself is definitely a lot easier to handle than this thing. But I will definitely try that out once I get the bazooka. I'll see if I can get to it. Let's see, there's a box up here. The problem is actually getting to it. There we go, okay. I obviously want to clear out something like that. Again, oh crap. Now the blast radius for that is actually pretty wide, so you definitely want to be very careful when being around it. And I have to shoot the gym, but you know, I'll try to remember. There will be another level like this, so I'll try to remember to do it then. But anyway, so not too difficult of a level, you know. So it is difficult, especially the gym route if you want to take the gym route. But it's for a starting level, you know, bringing a new vehicle like that. It's definitely pretty easy.
Is there a draft in here?
It wasn't even worth it. It's definitely, you know, pretty easy. They they definitely help you out. But then the next level that has the mech in it is going to be a lot harder. So. Don't know if you could hear what Aku Aku said there. He said, Cortex has an armada of spaceships ready to destroy the planet. Use your lasers to defeat, I think, defeat it or take out the armada or something like that. But all you have to do is, you will have the 4 people that have been giving us trouble, shooting at us. Coco, or not Coco, Tiny Dingo, Engine, and Trophy. So you do have to, deal with them. They're not quite as bad as they were in the other level, which is that sinking feeling, but they're definitely a lot harder than they were in than the other levels. Now there is actually a time limit. I don't remember the exact time, but you cannot mess around too long, or the armada will attack the Earth and you'll fail. So you definitely want to be very careful. Obviously, you want to be careful. You can see the balloons that are kind of shaped like UFOs out here in space. What the? Oh, that was odd. Anyway, you can see the Earth there. But yeah, that was odd. I didn't expect to die. The time limit is a lot longer than that, so I didn't run out of time. Maybe one of the enemies shot me and then ran into me or something. I don't know. You can see they do quite a bit of damage when they do shoot at you. You can do a type of roll. It's not quite as useful as the barrel roll, but it is something anyway, especially if you're kind of going head-on into an enemy. You can just easily get out of the way. You can use that to your advantage to kind of turn around and shoot them if you want to. And you can just see how much fire you have to put into the ships. You have to put quite a bit of fire into the ships before they are able to get knocked out. And something that was not in, I think, any other level where you had a barrel roll or a type of roll like this, is that you can hold the button down where you use the triggers, R1 or the right trigger to do a right roll, L1 to do a left roll. Let's see, left one, and then I'll show the right one here in a second. There we go. The right one. The controls of the ship are kind of the same as the planes. Man, they're not going to give me a chance to do this, are they? I need to get to a health thing. There we go. Need to get to another one. Maybe I can just send me boxes. If I didn't have to worry about the boxes, I wouldn't be so concerned, or as concerned. There we go. Okay. So now all I have to do is just focus on the ships. There is no way to speed yourself up, sadly. The ship flies by itself. The controls are, you push up to go up, down to go down, left to go left, right to go right. As I said, the right trigger and the left trigger to do the roll. A button to shoot, B button does nothing. Sadly, it doesn't slow you down or nothing like that. The X button does nothing as well. Yeah, it doesn't do nothing, and the Y just brings that up. There we go. Pretty simple, going after the ship, the boxes isn't that easy, but it's not as difficult as I was making it seem. I was taking too much fire. It's not nearly as stressful as all that. But anyway, it's pretty easy, pretty simple, not too hard. Now this, on the other hand, is going to be pretty difficult. This is the last swimming level, and it is by far the hardest in the entire game, because you start out, just because of the enemy placement, they kind of pool both the enemy types together from seashell shenanigans and the other one, that one of the name escapes me right now. And then you have to deal with both of those. Except, and they bring in a new one, an octopus arm. That sucked. The octopus arm, which is actually a pretty. It's not that difficult of an enemy. You can just drop a depth charge on them to take them out if you're worried about them, or you can just get down to their level and then shoot at them. They will disappear after a time, though, or they will go back into their hole after a time, though. And those depth charges are useless. So you really don't have to worry about them all that much. The jellyfish do return. They will follow the trail of blue light, so you can use that to your advantage if you're worried about the path that the jellyfish take. But you can just see how the hardest thing about this is just the amount of enemies that are here. That's really the hardest thing, and all of the mines that drop down is something difficult that is difficult as well. You have to always be watching for those, the sharks, the octopus arms, just different things like that. You always want to be careful and be wary for mines that are up. Crap. Well, that one was my fault. I was pushing left instead of, I was pushing kind of up and left, or up and right at the same time. That's things that put me back so far. There's actually a lack of checkpoint crates early on in the level, and really, I guess throughout the entire level, there's a lack of checkpoint crates. And it usually seems, at least for me anyway, if I die here, or through this section, it usually takes me quite a while to get it back, sadly, but I'm not sure, so you do want to be very careful and pay attention. As I said, you always want to be clearing the top section for mines. You can, as I said before, and in seashell, the other one, level 10, H2O, no, that was it. You can use you can kind of judge where the landmines are going to be, or they're not landmines, but the mines are going to be by the sound that they make, the beeping noise. So I guess there was no way to get up to its level and shoot it. It's a shame, but now you don't have to panic as much as you would have in, say, Crash 3 if you heard a slot box, because you can actually hear them from quite a ways away. So it's not as urgent of a thing. As long as you don't see it, and as long as you just hear it, you have nothing to worry about. But the minute you hear it, or the minute you see it, you do have to kind of hurry. Because of the, as I say, there's some mine there, and they will start to drop a little bit faster as you go on. So you want to be careful and wary for that. But you can just see how far away the checkpoint crate was, from the start of the level, and how far I had to go, and how many boxes I got before it happened. And you can just see how non-maneuverable the submarine is. I tried to dodge that mine, and I couldn't turn around, and it was my fault, but I couldn't turn around fast enough to get away from it. That just kind of shows you how difficult it is that sucks. How hard it is to maneuver around with this submarine. Yeah, definitely like the old submarine from Crash 3. A lot better than this one, by far. Just trying to be careful, because I know there's a mine around here somewhere. Yeah. And these little sharks. And there's that fast moving one. And then we have to watch out for, what was it? I think it was just that shark that hit me the last time. I'm sure there's a nitro activation switch, but I'm just kind of paranoid about it. You know, whenever they give you the opportunity to destroy them, I usually do. You know, just on the off chance that there's really only been one instance in the entire history of this style of gameplay on Crash that you didn't have the ability to use that nitro activation switch at the end of a level, and that was level 23 of Crash 3, Flaming Passion. So it's not, you know, it's nothing that you ever have to worry about, to be honest. It's just something that I do worry about. I was gonna say, I don't think there's any boxes down there, so I don't have to worry about going down there. But now we can get out of the submarine, and we can go on. We can swim like this again. You can something that you also couldn't do in Crash 3 was use the Death Tornado spin underwater, and that is something, thankfully, that they did add in the game. For this game, it's definitely very useful. It can not only help boost you through a section that the kick may not necessarily get you through, but it can also help you go through a pile of enemies pretty quickly, or just a pile of boxes a lot faster than in Crash 3. So that's always useful. See, there's the diver, or the scuba lab assistant. Maybe that is the diver. I'm not sure, to be honest. Yeah, that may be the diver, and then the one with the tank on his head is probably the diver. See here, got the mask on our face. Just go through everything you can to really pretty much. So yeah, as I was saying, I believe that this is the diver lab assistant, and the other is the scuba lab assistant. But anyways, you can see just how few and far between the sea crates are, to be honest. You know, of course, there were two pretty quickly there, but not until after you go through quite a large section of the level. Thankfully, the scuba, or the diver, does have a range that he can go, and so he can't follow you all the way down that hole. Thankfully, it's, you know, nothing really important that he does, but it's just, you know, something nice that that you don't have to worry about outrunning him. And you know, in a situation like that. But anyway, so you can see just how long that level is, how difficult that level is. Definitely not one of my favorite levels. You can actually jump out of that and still get sucked into the level. Again, not really worth it, but crap. But yeah, you can actually jump out of the portals and get above them and get sucked into the level. I'll see if I can do that with some of the levels that are coming up. Yeah, I mean, even with the crunch fight, I could probably do that as well. But just in part 5, when I do the 5th warp room, I'll see if I can do that as well. But anyway, so factory type level again, definitely a lot harder than any other factory level we've seen so far. First off, new obstacle, I guess. You can see that blue kind of tornado there, and that pit, it will actually suck you down into it, so you cannot, so you want to be very, oh crap, didn't mean to activate that. You know, there you go. That shows you the range right there of how tight, or I guess how small the blast radius for explosive crates are. In Crash 3, that would have destroyed the TNT as well. There's no reason. Oh crap! I thought that would work. But yeah, you know, that just does a better illustration than anything that I've ever been able to, or, you know, to show off or point out or anything like that. But anyway, oh crap. As you can see here, got fan blades from that are very similar to the Crash from Crash 2, these fan blades there from the sewer levels. Except these do slow down. You know, they stop and they'll slow down and all that. Unlike that game. And this is sadly a section where I'm not able to show off the ability to move faster on the mask because I was stupid and messed around. This would have been a lot more beneficial than trying to go after those lump fruit. But you know, it is what it is anyway. So if you notice what I'm doing, I'm slide jumping to try to gain a little bit of speed. As slow as you go, that is actually not a very bad strategy. Of course, you want to try to time it. I was gonna say, I think you can use the Death Tornado spin, but you know, you want to kind of time it just a little bit better. And here you want to wait. I think you got what the? Oh, that's right. Oh, wow, I'm surprised. I was fixing to say, I think you can see Crash's shadow, and that will tell you when you can jump, but obviously you're not supposed to go there. That's right. It's supposed to trick you into thinking that you can jump down there and go into the thing, but you actually can't. So that was my bad. But anyway, yeah, you know, using the slide jump is actually pretty useful. You know, as I said, just as slow as you go while climbing through here. It's very simple, very easy. It's a lot easier to do than in other games like Crash 2 or Crash 3. It's a lot easier to do in this game, even as bad as the slide jumping is. It's a very low failure rate, at least for me anyway. It's, like I said, very easy to do. And so I guess that's one of the puzzles, trying to get that without activating the nitros or the TNT or whatever. But it's a lot easier than they make it seem. And so yeah, the TNT crate finally learns how to blow things up, or blast radius. Again, the puzzle here, not too difficult, especially once you have the you will have the double jump at this point, but that just makes it so much simpler. Again, here you want to make sure that you get those. I think those are, I swear those were metal crates. But I guess the crate types are what would keep you from wanting to just, you know, a life crate and some wump fruit. If you're not that good at the game, you know, having as many lives at the end of the game is actually pretty useful. But you know, I've had 19 lives since, I guess you could say, level 15, but I should have had them at level 4 or level 14 if I hadn't lost so many lives trying to do the Smokey and the Bandicoot boss, or trying to do the gym there. So you could pretty much say I got 99 lives at level 14. So you know, lives, nothing, something that I have not needed in quite a while. And doing something like that, I mean, as trivial as that seemed, that is a fire vent, by the way, so you want to be very careful and pay attention to, you know, to the flames coming out of it. Again, you want to jump over that, but then you have to worry about this fire vent, so you have to kind of time it a little bit better than usual. You want to always slide jump or double jump over those pits, because the blue tornado will suck you into the pit, so you do want to be very careful and, you know, pay attention to that. You can see here the invisibility crate again. It just gives you enough time to get through the, like I there with not a whole lot of trouble. You can see here the big thing is the nitros. Just stick to one side, not too difficult. You time. Oh wow. Just stick to one side. Don't have to worry about timing the jump. Really, you can get through it pretty easily. Not that difficult, to be honest. But anyway. So normally what you just do is you slide and jump and do all that, try to get through there if you didn't have the invisibility crate, but you know, it's really up to you however you want to get through there. I believe the invisible crate does count towards your box count, I believe. So you don't have to hit it either way. But it just, you know, you can either run through there or act like you were actually able to get hit and slide and do all that, or just wait for the invisibility to wear off and then try to do it like that. But anyway, so, you know, this is pretty difficult, but not nearly as difficult as the final factory type level in the game. That one is actually very, very difficult. This one is when the levels are getting, I guess, harder to this point. You know, it's definitely not difficult, but it is where things are getting more difficult, I guess. But anyway, so see, there you go. You can even see the tornado spin the dust.
Look, the orange boy likes to fly. Time to earn your wings, kid.
And so that just lets you know that you have to fly against Crunch this time. You'll be in the glider, and you will just have to shoot at him. And I'll talk about what you have to do while you're in the while I'm in the boss fight. There we go. Okay, so you can see Crunch is really big, and if you can see Lolo there on Crunch's left arm, spinning around, that is a signal as to what attack he will use. What he will use is for his first attack, he will throw an electric ball at you. The second attack, he will shoot little tiny balls out of his eyes, which will do about 5 points of damage. His left arm, he will shoot a beam of, I believe, ice. I'm not 100% sure what that is, though. It could just be air, but it kind of looks like ice. That's his third attack, and fourth, on his chest, he will shoot a bunch of lightning bolts that hurt you for quite a bit of damage, but there is a window, or I guess that's only 10, but you can kind of tell, you can kind of see a hole, or like a gap in the electric curtain, or I guess the lightning curtain, that you can bypass. You can see Aku Aku come in, and that will tell you what you can and can't hit. As long as he's swirling around something, you can start shooting at it. The easiest things are obviously going to be the hands, and if you're good at dodging the little balls, the head. The hardest thing will be the chest, the lightning curtain. You can kind of tell where a gap will be in the curtain because once he launches the attack, you can kind of tell, or you can already see a gap, and all you have to do is just make sure that you get to it. Of course, early on, you don't really have to worry about, if you have a whole bunch of health, you don't really have to worry about dodging it all that much. It is 10 points, but it's not that difficult. Or, it's not that costly if you do take damage by it. I think the thing that hurts the worst is the electric ball, and maybe this attack on his left hand. But once he gets down to enough damage, or either once enough time passes, you'll actually. Oh wow, that seemed to hurt me for a lot more than what I thought it would. But once enough time passes, you'll actually start to change up his. It's either based on his health meter or time, but he will start to change up his attacks, and they will be a little bit. They won't be quite as predictable as they have been. See, his skeleton pops out. The Fruit Bazooka, to fire fruit at a target, hold the L button to raise the gun and aim with the directional, the control stick or the control pad, and then press B to fire. So, just like it was in Crash 3, the same bazooka and all that as it was in Crash 3. Not that difficult to use. And I'm pretty sure you can actually use it in the warp room now, if I'm not mistaken. I may be wrong. Let's see. I'm not sure if I just can't use it now, or if I can't use it at all. Yeah, okay. Sadly, I can't use it in the warp room. My bad. But anyway, so we'll go ahead and look in the 5th warp room. You can see it's space orientated and themed and all that. But I'm gonna go ahead and talk about the trivia and all that for the levels that I've done so far, as I tend to do. and everything in this game. So we'll start with, what was it, Avalanche for Coco. Let's see, alright, Avalanche. Crystal, 2 gems, clear, 113 boxes. Enemies are the Penguin, the Skier Lab Assistant, and the Avalanche itself. The level is Snow, Snowboard, Chase. Avalanche is the 16th level in Crash Bandicoot The Wrath of Cortex. The level takes place in a icy mountain ski resort world surrounded by blizzards, warm houses, Eskimos, and skis. As its name suggests, an avalanche disaster happens here. It is the first time in the game that Coco uses her snowboard. The enemies in this level are the same that appear in Arctic Antics. Trivia: Crash was originally going to use a snowmobile here, and the BGM, the music for the level is the remake of the popular Benny Hill theme. Not sure what that is, but there you go. Let's see. So for Droid Void, the level description is Space Station Mech, 1 crystal, 2 gems, both clear, 169 boxes. Enemies are Cyborg Lab Assistant, Rotating Laser, Claw Robot, Electricity, Green Droid, Hovering Robot, Blown Up Ship, Bile Throwing Lab Assistant. So quite a few enemies there. Droid Void is the 17th level of Crash Bandicoot The Wrath of Cortex. In this level, Crash is in a mech suit. It is set up in a space station, presumably Cortex space station, but it isn't said. The level trivia: the level finishes in a disco room. This is the first space level in the game. Crash enters his suit of armor when he enters the control center. But yeah, as I said, it's not said for sure whether this is Cortex's space station or not, but it's, you know, you can kind of tell it is. So for Crash Droids, Space Flying, Crystal, 1 gem, 1 crystal, 1 gem, clear, 14 boxes. Other ships and then the asteroids themselves will do damage to you. Crash Droids is the 18th level in Crash Bandicoot The Wrath of Cortex. It is a galaxy level where Coco travels through space using her spaceship's guns to take out the shields that protect the 3 space stations that need to be destroyed to complete the level. Planets like the Earth can be seen around the level. Trivia: the name of the name of the level is a play off the word asteroids. Despite the level name having Crash's name in it, Coco is the playable character in this level. The spaceship is very different from the one in Crash 3. This is the first and only level where Coco uses a spaceship to travel around outer space to save the day. Alright, so for Coral Canyon, Submarine, Scuba, Crystal, 1 gem, clear, 85. Enemies are Octopus Tentacle, Jellyfish, Mine, Lionfish, Charging Fish, Shark, Angler, Fish, Scuba Lab Assistant, and then the Diver. Coral Canyon is the 3rd and last underwater level of Crash Bandicoot The Wrath of Cortex. Like the other underwater levels in the game, there are lots of underwater animals that are in Crash's way during the level. Crash dives around and he can also use the submarine during this level. Trivia: the PS2 version has a subsection dark and you must use a subs light to see. Coral can also appear on beaches, though there is none seen in this stage. This level is the reverse of seashell shenanigans. Crash uses the submarine, then dives, but in the other level, Crash dives, then uses the submarine. So for, let's see, Weathering Heights, Flying Fortress, Crystal, 1 gem, clear, 141 boxes. Enemies are Radioactive Lab Assistant, Claw Robot, Cyborg Lab Assistant, Bile Throwing Lab Assistant, Sharp Fan, Blown Up Ship, Steam Vent, and Green Laser. Weathering Heights is the 20th level in Crash Bandicoot The Wrath of Cortex. It is the last level in the air warp room. Similar to the other lab space levels, it takes place in an airship in the sky. If the player looks out the window at the end of the level, they will see the ship that Crash is located on is on fire. This level is the second to have an invisibility crate in the game. In time trial, the Crash Dash helps in the sections with spinning blades. After completing this level, you will move on to the low boss fight. Through action replay, this level is revealed to take place inside an airship fought in the cut glider level where Crash would fight 12 of them in his glider. So there was another glider level that was cut from the game where you have to shoot or fight 12 of these types of airships that are in Weathering Heights. Weathering Heights is a reference to Emily. There's no way I can pronounce her last name. Drama Wuthering Heights. The level is almost like going through a plane bridge. The name of this level is the only name in the air warp room that has something to do with air. This is the only level in the game to have one gym and is completely platforming. That's interesting. So now we'll go to the boss fight. Atmospheric pressure, boss, flying. Fruit Bazooka is the item that you get. And the obstacles are crunches, air ball, air shards, air whip, and air storm. The Fruit Bazooka, also known as the Fruit Bazooka, is a weapon that fires Wumpa fruit. It can be obtained by... Oh, I'm sorry, I hit the wrong thing. Okay, atmospheric pressure. That's what I meant to hit. Atmospheric pressure is the fourth boss fight in the Wrath of Cortex, and is also the last elemental battle in the game. After Crash has collected all the crystals, Crash will be allowed to battle Crunch, who is partnered with Air Elemental Lolo. Up until this point, all of the boss battles have taken place on solid ground, but this time Crash and Crunch take the arena up to the skies, and the background seems to be located up above villages and somewhere mountainous, as mountains can be seen here too, as opposed to the other three elemental battles and the final confrontation. There are no phases, so this is the only battle that is straightforward, attacking Crunch with the help of Crash's glider while dodging Crunch's attacks, which are described below. After Crunch's health is emptied out, Crunch's genie-like body explodes violently, and Lolo is once again trapped in hibernation alongside the three elementals before him. The duo leave nothing else behind but the ability, the Fruit Bazooka. The flying ball, the first basic attack, it is literally a ball that flies from the right side of the screen to the left, relatively easy to dodge, but can be a pain if unprepared. The laser, a continuous beam from Crunch's right hand, although it follows you around the screen, it is slow and therefore easy to dodge. However, it does large amounts of rapid damage otherwise. The multiple balls, Crunch shoots a barrage of energy balls from his eyes at you. The lightning, electricity radiates from Crunch's chest and releases lightning with a small gap in between. It progresses down the screen to dodge this. You must quickly get into the gap, so that just kind of tells you about the things. But this is considered to be the hardest boss in the game by some fans, although others consider it to be the easiest boss. Even more fans believe its difficulty is somewhere in between. I'm gonna side with the easiest. It's very, very easy. Once you get the hang of it, very easy. It's the only battle in the game where Crunch seems to die, since his body explodes and his skeleton is shown. This battle is somewhat similar to Engine's battle in Crash 3. Crunch's left arm right to the player launches a ball. Crunch's right arm left to the player launches a ray of light like the Gatling gun in Engine's battle. Crunch's head launches multiple balls at the player like Engine's missiles, but these orbs don't home in on the player. And Crunch's stomach launches a wide ray that falls from the top of the screen. This is the only boss to be fought in the glider. The boss has the most health in the game, as it takes 100 hits, 25 hits per limb to defeat. The music of this boss is a possible remix to "In Hall of the Mountain Man." Okay. But yeah. So anyway, now thank you for watching. Challenge of the video is how many times did I shoot the I guess the Fruit Bazooka with the mech during level 17. Thank you for watching. In part 5, we will do the final warp chamber, and then we'll finally be able to fight Cortex, just like in Crash 3 and in Crash 2. So until then, later everyone.